Good morning, students. In this video, I shall discuss the transport system in case of human being. And there are different parts of the transport system. And here, particularly, we shall discuss the blood and blood vessels. Now, what is blood and how the blood transports the different substances from one part to another, and how the blood vessels help in this process. Now, what is blood? As we have already discussed, the blood is the fluid connective tissue and normally it transports the material from one part to another. Now, most important thing is that blood is red in color, and this red color of the blood is due to the hemoglobin pigments present inside the RBC. Now, what are the main constituents of the blood? The major constituents of the blood, that is the plasma, which is about 55% of the total volume. And now the 90% of this plasma is nothing but your water. And it is pale yellow in color, and it contains certain substances like your proteins, some digested nutrients or digested food, and the common salts, and so many ions which are there. Then the waste product, they are also present there in the plasma. And the plasma mostly transport all these substances like the digested food, then the waste material, different salts, they are transported through the plasma from one part to another. This is the fluid part of the blood. Now, another part of the blood, that is the blood cells, or these are also called the blood corpuscles. And these blood corpuscles which are normally present there in the plasma. Now, these blood cells are normally three different types: the RBC, WBC, and platelet. The RBC, which are red blood cells or red blood corpuscles, and these are also called the erythrocytes. And these erythrocytes are normally different shape and sizes. Normally their size is biconcave in nature. Now the WBC, these are many number of WBC present inside the blood, and they are basically of two types. This WBC or white blood corpuscles, or these are called the leukocytes. And normally the RBC are red in color, whereas the WBC are colorless in nature, and these RBC and WBC are synthesized or formed there inside the bone marrow cells. These are the hemopoietic tissue, and normally they synthesize the blood cells. Now, another important cells are the platelets, and the blood platelets, these are flat cells, and normally they are dead in nature, and they are also called the thrombocytes. Now, basic differences between these RBC, WBC, and platelets which are discussed here. But regarding the WBC, their nuclei are very much prominent, and they are distinct, and different shape and size of the nucleus you will find there in the different WBC. So that is called nuclear polymorphism. Now here in case of granulocytes, they are basically divided into two groups, the granulocytes and the agranulocytes. When the cytoplasm is granular in nature, that means in the cytoplasm there are large granules are there, so that is why they are called granulocytes. And here the agranulocytes, their granules are not there in the cytoplasm, and the cytoplasm more or less transparent, so that is why they are called agranulocytes. Now granulocytes are three types: first the eosinophil, then basophil, then neutrophil. Then eosinophil, basophil, and neutrophil, they are having the different types of nucleus on the basis of their shape. This is normally bilobed in nature, and it is of course looking like the horseshoe, and it is also multi-lobed, different lobes are there, and here there are multi-lobed nuclei you will find here. Now in case of lymphocyte, it is heart-shaped or kidney-shaped nucleus. In case of monocyte, it is a smaller nucleus here there. So that is why on the basis of the nucleus, the WBC are normally identified easily, and in case of blood DC or differential counting, we can easily count the number of different WBC present in the blood. That is called blood DC. And on the basis of this, some problems are also detected. Now, what are the basic differences between the RBC, WBC and platelet? Mostly the RBC, WBC and platelet all are formed in the bone marrow cell. And the first and most important thing is that the color of the RBC it is red in color, whereas the color of WBC and the platelet they are mostly colorless in nature. Their cytoplasm do not contain the hemoglobin. That is why they are colorless. Whereas the RBC it contains the hemoglobin pigment. That is why it is red in color and it transports the oxygen molecule. Now next, the shape of the RBC, it is biconcave in nature and that is disc shaped, but the WBC are normally circular or sometimes little bit irregular in their shape. Now the platelets are very much irregular in their shape and they are smaller in size. Now what is the actual size of RBC, WBC and platelet? The RBC it is having 7 to 8 micrometer in diameter, whereas the WBC they are 600 times larger than the RBC, and the platelets are smaller than the RBC. Even it is 2 to 3 micrometer, that is like around half of or more less than the half of the shape of RBC. Now their number, the number of RBC, WBC and platelets they vary in the blood. In case of RBC it is 4.5 to 5 million per cubic millimeter of blood. Now the WBC their number it is less, it is 7,000 to 10,000 cubic millimeter, and in case of platelet it is 250,000 cubic millimeter per cubic millimeter, and in case of RBC the nucleus is absent, so that is why RBC it is called anucleated cell. Anucleated means the nucleus was there during the early stage of development, but later on this nucleus is degenerated there, and that is why their lifespan is less. It is around 120 days, and after 120 days the RBC dies. But in case of WBC, normally the nucleus is present and the nuclei are of different shape. It may be a horseshoe shape, it may be multi-lobed, bilobed, or it may be heart-shaped or kidney-shaped, or it is very smaller nuclei. But the nuclei are present there. But in case of platelets, here also the nuclei are mostly absent. Now regarding the presence of hemoglobin, the most important pigment, these hemoglobin pigments are present in the RBC. That is why RBC is red in color, as well as it transports the oxygen from the lungs to the different parts of the body, and it helps in the breaking of the food material to release the energy. Now, in case of WBC, there is no hemoglobin, so that is why they are not red in color, but they are colorless in nature. In case of platelets, also hemoglobin is absent, so that is why they are colorless in nature. Now, what are the important functions of the RBC, WBC and platelet? Normally, RBC transport the oxygen molecules as well as the carbon dioxide molecule from one part to another. Oxygen is transported from the lungs to the different parts of the body or different cells of the body, and it also transports some amount of carbon dioxide from the different cells to the lungs for removal from the body. Now, regarding the WBC provides immunity to our body. It protects our body from the different diseases by killing or destroying the pathogens like bacteria, virus, protozoans, etc. by engulfing them, taking inside them, and they kill them. Or the lymphocyte, the most important molecule, that is the antibody. These antibodies are prepared by the lymphocyte, and these antibodies they kills the antigens or the germs. So that is why they help in the protection of our body from the different diseases. Now, the platelets, the most important function of the platelets, that is the clotting or the coagulation of the blood. That is the natural mechanism of the blood by which the bleeding is automatically stopped when any wound or cut occurs there in the body. Now, the lifespan of the RBC, as I have already told, it is 120 days, and after 120 days they die, and after their death the new RBC are synthesized there in the bone marrow cell. So that is why continuously the RBCs are destroying and continuously the new RBC are forming in our blood or from the bone marrow cells. Now here the WBC, their lifespan is only few days. So that is why after their growth they die and the new WBC continuously they form. And the WBC number increases when there is any type of infection. So any infection occurs to fight the germs, the number of WBC increases at the time. Now the lifespan of the platelets, that is around 7 days. So that is why they are the short lifespan. So that is why after their death the new platelets are formed where the wound or cut occurs and the clotting occurs to prevent the bleeding. Now, what are the important functions of the blood? Because the blood, they perform different functions for the human being particularly. And what are the important functions which are normally performed by the blood in our body? As we have already discussed the role of hemoglobin, the most important role of the blood is to transport the oxygen from the lungs to different part of the body. So that is why it is very much important for human being. Now the first one, the function of blood. Now first one, the most important function, that is the blood transport oxygen from lungs to the different parts of the body, as well as it also transport carbon dioxide from different cells to the lungs, and it is removed to the outside by the process of breathing. Now second, the digested food material, after digestion they are absorbed into the blood circulation. So that is why the blood transport the nutrients or digested food, nutrients from the intestine to the different parts of the body to all cells of the body. Now next one, they normally transport the hormones, because the hormones are synthesized or formed there in the endocrine gland like your pituitary, thyroid, parathyroid, adrenal, etc. And the hormones are directly released to the blood circulation, and the blood transports them to the different parts of the body for their action. Now, this blood also transports the waste material. They transport the waste material like your urea. Urea is synthesized there in the liver, but it is transported from the liver to the kidney for the filtration and the formation of the urine. So that is why it helps in the transport of urea and other waste material from one part to another. Then as we know, the WBC, it provides the immunity to our body. That means it protects us from the different diseases. So that is why blood also performs this role to provide immunity to our body, and it protects us from the different diseases. Now next one, it also regulates the body temperature, regulate the temperature in our body. So whenever we suppose feeling cold, we just warm our hands, and when the hand is warm, automatically the whole body becomes warmed up, because the heat is normally transported through the blood. Now another most important character or function of the blood. That is, the blood normally helps in clotting or coagulation of the blood. The platelets particularly help in this process, and this platelet helps in clotting. That is why it is the natural mechanism by which the clotting of the blood occur and the bleeding is automatically stopped during hemorrhage. So these are the important functions of the blood. Now we shall discuss the blood vessels. Now what are these blood vessels? Normally the blood vessels are tube-like structure. These are the tube-like structure which transport the blood from the heart to the different parts of the body, either to the hands, to the legs, to the head. So every region, and some vessels, they carry the blood from the different part to the heart. So here, this is the position of the heart in the thoracic cavity towards the left side, and the arteries, these are red color are the arteries, and the blue color which are the veins, which normally connected throughout the body. So that is why they transport the blood to each and every cell of the body. It may be either the toe or it may be in the brain. So that is why the blood vessels which connected throughout the body, they are of three types. The first one, these are the arteries, then the veins and the capillaries. Then what are arteries and what are veins and what are capillaries? Normally the arteries are normally the vessels or the blood vessels which carry blood from the heart to the different parts of the body. They carry the blood from the heart to the different parts of the hand, leg, or toes, or vein, everywhere. Now the veins, they carry the blood from different parts of the body to the heart. Normally the blue blood vessels, they carry the blood to the heart, whereas the arteries, the red color, they carry the blood from the heart to the different parts of the body. Now, another most important thing is that the arteries, they carry the oxygenated blood mostly. Because one exception is there, the pulmonary artery, which carry the deoxygenated blood to the lungs for oxygenation. Now, all other arteries, they normally carry the oxygenated blood from the heart to all parts. Now, the veins, they carry the deoxygenated blood from the different parts of the body to the heart, except the pulmonary vein. Pulmonary vein is the only vein which carry the oxygenated blood from the lungs to the heart. Now, the blood flows with high pressure in the arteries, whereas the blood flows with low pressure in the vein. Because the lumen of the artery is normally small and the wall, it is thick wall. So due to the presence of this thick wall and the smaller lumen, normally the pressure is higher here in comparison to the veins. Because the veins are normally thin walled, and that is why their lumens are large and the pressure is, that is why, low here. The blood flows with low pressure inside the vein. Now the arteries are deep rooted, which are present inside the muscles, and the veins are superficial, which are present just in the below the skin, just upper surface of the muscle. Now the lumen is small, lumen is large, and the valves are absent in case of arteries, because the blood flows with a high pressure from the heart to the all parts. So that is why the valves are absent here. But in case of veins, the valves are present to prevent the backward flow. Because when the blood is coming from the lower part towards the heart, so there is chance of the backward flow of the blood. So that is why the valves are normally present in the vein to prevent the backward flow of the blood. Now, this is the structure of the, or the transverse section of the artery, and this is the transverse section of the vein. Look at here, the wall, it is very much thick, so that is why the pressure is higher and the lumen is smaller here, and the muscular layer is there, so that is why the blood flows with high pressure. But here, the lumen is larger and walls are thin, so that is why blood flows with low pressure. Look at the capillary. Now, these are the arteries. When the arteries, they move from the heart to the last part, suppose they are reaching to the hand region or to the toe region, it they branch and rebranch to form, these are called the arterioles. These are the arterioles, and the veins, they branch and rebranch, these are called the venules. So, when these arteries divide and redivide, normally they are smaller and smaller, and here the exchange of materials occur in the capillary. This part, these are the capillary, where this is the artery which carry the blood, and the vein which normally carry the blood from the different part to the heart. So that is why the arteries, they ends here. So artery ends with capillaries, whereas the veins start with capillaries, because the capillaries which are present here, they join together to form the vein, while the artery, they branch together to form the capillary, and the capillary join together to form the vein. So that is why it is said that artery ends with capillaries and vein starts with capillaries. And the exchange of materials, either gases like oxygen, carbon dioxide, or the nutrients, everything occurs through the capillaries. So the capillaries contain both oxygenated and deoxygenated blood. They are very, our blood is very in low pressure, now very thin walled. So that is why exchange is easier. Now the lumen is very small and the valves are absent. Now this is the capillary. So that is why the artery, vein, and the capillary, these are the three important vessels which are normally form the network throughout the body, and which help in the transport of the different material through the blood. So that is why these vessels are very much important in this circulatory system. Now, this much for the day. I hope this video is beneficial for you, and if it is really beneficial for you, please like it and subscribe for further videos. Thank you.